Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and family, welcome once again to the Abundant Way. Yes, my light is out. I told you that. We have no light. Welcome once again to the Abundant Way Ministries Tuesday evening empowerment session. For those of you who have been with us, you know that this month, the month of August, is Housing Empowerment Month. And we're talking about housing empowerment. So we are going to jump right in today because we got a lot to talk about. What are you doing?
I'm logging in.
You logging in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, somebody's already in.
Mm-hmm. Who's in? Go to comments.
Welcome for whoever that is. Thank you for joining. For those of you who are not familiar with the Abundant Way Ministries, because I know we have some new folks joining. My name is Robert Davis, and this is my wife, Melody. We are the founder and co-founders of the Abundant Way Ministries. We are an economic empowerment, faith-based marketplace ministry, bringing it all together. It is our purpose, our passion, and our provision. Mm-hmm. That's where utopia is. Some people call it heaven. It's like heaven on earth. When you're doing something that you love to do, you're called to do it, and you actually make money doing it. That's what empowerment is all about. Because whenever you're doing something that you love to do, you never feel like you're working a day in your life. Mm-hmm. But it always also seems like there's not enough time in the day. All right. You ready?
Listen. You all need to really, really like and share this broadcast because it's going to help a lot of people. Because what we're talking about in this month is
housing empowerment.
Housing empowerment.
Listen, before we go any further, could somebody just give us a sound check, a mic check, and let us know that you can hear us?
I did.
Did you?
I can hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody just say, hey, I see you out there.
Yeah. So as I was saying, this is really, really going to help a lot of people, your family members, your friends, anybody who is wanting to buy a house or, hey, Mahogany, whether it's your home that you're going to live in or you want to get into investment buying, whatever it is, buying a house. And what we're going to focus on today really is going to open up the realm for the rest of the month. Because I remember back in the day, I didn't want a home. I didn't want to own a home.
Right.
And why? I always said I didn't want the responsibility of cutting the grass, making the repairs, anything that went wrong. I didn't want to have to deal with it. I prefer to rent because let the landlord take care of whatever needed to be taken care of. And now I look back on it, I'm like, that is the craziest thing I have ever said or thought when it comes to home buying. So we're going to hit on the reason why we're not homeowners.
Right. Not us. Just people.
But people.
People in general.
Us people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, us people.
Yeah.
Hey, Robin. So we're gonna dive in. For those of you, again, who don't really know our background, I would again encourage you guys to like and share because we're bringing a lot of experience to this conversation. We both have been working in the real estate industry for at least 2 decades. Me, 24 years. I started investing. I'm talking about from a professional level, investing in real estate in 2001. I bought my first rental properties in Akron, Ohio. And then in 2007, I got my real estate license here in Atlanta, Georgia. And then in 2017, I got my broker's license, and in 2018, I opened up Davis Asset Realty. And you have a interesting background with real estate. It's in property management.
Commercial property management. I've been managing commercial property management for about 30 years. And commercial property management is retail centers, it's your industrial warehouse buildings, it's your office buildings. That's all in commercial. Only thing I haven't done is medical. But also in 2017, we established MDD Asset Management, where I manage residential homes for private investors, out-of-state investors here in Georgia. And we've been doing that since, like I said, 2017. Mm-hmm. So combine all that together,
yeah,
a lot of experience.
So we're bringing all that experience to the conversation. So it's going to go beyond home buying. That's going to be the basic thing, because that is, in my opinion, one of the entry points to your path for wealth building, right? There's other paths, there's other entry points, but we know this one well. Yeah. So we're going to be really talking about, the power of home ownership and how to leverage that into investing, right? Because, we've been talking about building generational wealth, since the beginning of this year. And one of the things that became very apparent is that it is very difficult to build any type of wealth without investing, right? Most of us cannot really build wealth on your job with a paycheck. You've got to take the money that you make from your job and invest it so that money can grow faster than the inflation, faster than the cost of living, and faster than you can spend it. How about that? Yeah. And one of the ways to, again, one of the, and I'm being partial because this is where the background that we come from. I feel like one of the best investment vehicles is real estate, right? Starting with home ownership, right? So we're going to be talking about that today. I'm actually going to jump ahead just a little bit to kind of set the stage. I know we're gonna talk about this near the end, but just talking about I want you guys to tap into the benefits of home ownership, like mentally tap into that, because like where you started off in the introduction, you talked about why you wouldn't want to own a home, and you gave the reasons, the pain points, the fears, right? The fear of, fear of having to maintain a property. And here's some of the fears that you haven't said that people deal with. The fear of losing a home, the fear of foreclosure, the fear of not being able to make your mortgage payment, right? So with fear comes uncertainty, right? So it's a real thing. I get it. I understand it. But that uncertainty really comes from a lack of knowledge, a lack of experience, a lack of understanding, a lack of the clear steps. That's basically where the fear is coming from. And what we want to do today is to help relieve that fear. We want to help kind of stomp that fear out, right? So we're going to be talking about the steps towards home ownership. Let's talk about some other things. Well, okay, benefits. I wanted to touch on that just a little bit to get your mind set. So one of the benefits is that you actually own something that you could pass on if you wanted to, right? You can't do that with an apartment or even a home that you're renting, right? And one of the greatest benefits to me is that if the house that you own appreciates in value over the time that you're living in it, then you've got options. Right? You can You can use that as a stepping stone to go into something bigger, much better, or you can leverage that to buy investment property. So that's where we're going to ultimately go to. So if investing is the way to wealth, then here is a key to get you into that investing area. So going back to the fear, what if you try to get a house and it don't work? What if you fail? I think
you mean as far as like applying for it?
Yeah.
A lot of people then shut down
Mm-hmm.
and they say, well, I didn't get it, so I'm not going to try for it again.
Mm-hmm.
Or or it's like, well, they said my income isn't enough, or my credit isn't good, or I have too much debt,
right,
so forget it, I'm just going to rent, instead of taking the steps to correct what they're saying is holding you back. Fix those things and then try again. So but we don't want to put it in the work.
We don't want to put it because it okay. So ladies and gentlemen, that's part of the thing, right? So let's say you look at your financial situation, your financial position, and everything doesn't look 100% a-okay. Okay, that's reality. That's life for many people. But the mindset is what counts the most. You're either going to have a mindset that says, well, I don't have good credit, or I don't have a down payment, or I don't make enough money. And so therefore, I'm not going to try.
Yep.
I'm not going to set myself up for disappointment, for rejection. I'm not going to set myself up for that. That's one mindset. Or you can have the mindset to say, okay, here's where I am, and here's where I need to be. What do I need to do to get myself in the right position to be able to buy a home, number one, and number two, to get the best deal I possibly can through that buying process, right? So, yes, there are some people who will give anybody a home, anybody a mortgage, right? There are lenders out there who will, we call them predatory lenders, right? They're looking for the sucker. They don't care how bad your credit is. They don't care how low your income is. They just want to get you locked into a loan that they know you won't be able to make. No, you won't be able to make those payments, because ultimately they're actually looking for you to fail so that they can get that house, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to be in that position. You want to do whatever it is that you need to do to fix your financial situation, get your credit score up as high as you can get it, because that actually helps determine how good of an interest rate you're going to get, right? You don't have to have perfect credit to get a loan, but the better your credit is, the better deal you're going to get, right? So that's how that works, right? So it's really the what if I fail mindset versus the what if I succeed mindset. And we just trying to get you to be the what if I succeed person. What if I do go for it? What do I have to do?
Right.
And here's the bonus. When we talk about what do you have to do to get in the position that in the best position that you can possibly be in to purchase your home, the bonus is, what is that going to make of you on that journey, going through that process? What kind of character is going to be built in you as you take the steps to improve your credit and keep it there? What kind of character is that going to build in you? Because this is causing you to have to set up a budget. and causing you to have to stick to it, causing you to have to save, right?
Yep.
Causing you to have to think in the future, causing you to have to really consider your financial decisions before you make moves. What kind of character is that building in you? Because that's the thing that's going to last even beyond the day you actually sign those papers and walk into your house and get those keys, right?
Yeah.
That's really the bonus. What does it make of you? What's some other fears? Worrying about the monthly payments, the interest rate, worrying about losing a job. And then there's the emotional fear, commitment anxiety. I know people who have commitment anxiety. They won't commit to anything.
Yeah.
Right? So, but now again, that character building that happens as you take this journey, it affects every area of your life, including the ability to make commitments. Yeah. Most people who can't even commit to something like this, many people who can't commit to something like this also have problems committing in a relationship. You see those people in and out of relationships, because they just can't commit. So
the big C.
Yeah, it's the big C, right? And so, yes, when you decide to take this journey, it does require commitment, because why start something that you're not going to complete, right? It may not happen overnight, but if you stick with it, right? Don't jump in and jump out. And I'm going to talk about something that you're going to have patience to get through to get the best deal possible. Yeah. You can't jump in and jump out, jump in and jump out. You will never get there. It'll be 10 years down the line and you'll be still renting that apartment. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So, where do we start? What's the solution?
What's the solution?
Okay.
Solution of what?
All right. So, solution to all of those fears of starting and making a commitment and moving forward. Again, talking about overcoming those myths, the I don't make enough money myth, the I need to have a perfect credit score myth, the I don't have the 20% down myth. I'll be in debt forever. Where do we start to overcome all of that?
First, it really starts, like I think you touched on it, is our mindset. We have to change our mindsets first. We have to turn those negative thoughts, fears into positives. And once you decide this is something that I really want to do, really want to have, then you get in contact with somebody that can help you through the process, that can shut down all of these myths and fears that you have and say, okay, let's squash all that, get that out your head, and let's get on the right track, and take the necessary steps to get you to be a homeowner.
Right. Because in actuality, the real barriers are in the mind. It's the mindset barrier.
Yep.
It's the mindset and misinformation, right?
Yeah.
Most of us are paralyzed and don't want to move forward because of what somebody else told us, right? So here's the first step that I would take is to educate yourself. Get the right information. So how do you do that? Yep, you can go on YouTube, you can Google, you can chat GPT. Those are all great resources. But my best advice is to reach out to someone who does it every day. Reach out to a realtor, reach out to a mortgage broker, talk to someone at your bank, because what you'll find is all of the things that you thought were going to stop you, they already have the answer to it. Right. They have programs that don't even require you to put 20% down. They have programs that will allow you to purchase without a perfect credit score, right? They have programs that will help you find the house that works within your budget, right? So all of these things that we have caught up in our mind don't have to be a barrier if we just reach out, take the initiative to pick up the phone and reach out to a professional in this area.
Absolutely.
Right. All right. So, and we're going to talk about some of these down payment programs, some of these special programs. That's who I really should get on the call. Somebody who can really go into depth about these different programs. Right. So that's how you replace those what we call limiting beliefs. Reach out to somebody who really knows, right? All right. Okay, so we're going to talk about some practical steps, And here's the thing, guys. With the Abundant Way Ministries, being ministry-based, faith-based, we do a lot of talking about scriptures and Bible and faith and this, that, and the other. And that's all good. Don't get me wrong. But in this segment, we're going to be doing more practical stuff. So right now, we're getting ready to walk you through the first steps, right? We're going to talk Bible later, all right? But right now, one of the first things that you should do is, instead of guessing that you're going to get denied because of your credit, go and check your credit.
Right.
Step number one, check your credit score, get your credit report. There is a free service called freecreditreport.com, right? Or freeannualcreditreport.com. That's it.
Yeah.
And you got to be careful because there's one that has a very similar name that's not actually free. So Google it, ChatGPT, make sure you get the right one so that you don't get sent down a rabbit hole. But there is a annual free credit report service that you can sign up for and get your credit report for free. Now, you may have to pay for your score. I think you get one score free. And if you want the score from the other two bureaus, credit bureaus, then you're going to have to pay a nominal fee, nothing very expensive. But for those of you who don't know, there are three major credit bureaus that most of the mortgage companies and lenders draw from or get their information from. It's Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, right? Write that down. Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. These are the credit reporting services that monitor your not necessarily your spending habits, but monitor how you manage your credit. What is credit? So you borrow money to buy something or to pay for something, and now it's your responsibility to pay that money back. How do we borrow money? We borrow money on credit cards. We borrow money to get a car loan. We borrow money to what else do we borrow money for? What's on our credit reports? Furniture,
phone
service,
cable service.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else is on? I'm trying to think of the stuff that used to be on my credit report. Definitely car loans. In my case, definitely mortgages.
Student loans.
Student loans show up on your credit report. Yep. And you name it, credit cards definitely show up on your credit.
Bills.
Medical bills will show up if you don't pay them.
If you don't pay them.
Yep, will show up on your credit report. Anything that you don't pay.
Yeah.
Like even if it doesn't show up as a line of credit, like your utility bills, your water bill, your medical bills, they don't show up as a line of credit until you mess up. And, they're not lines of credit, but when you mess up, then they show up on your credit report as collections. Right? And you want to avoid having collections on your credit report. And so I don't know what all y'all doing out there with your money. But those are the basic things: houses, cars, credit cards, personal loans. You know, they show up on your credit report. Lines of credit will show up on your credit report. Okay. So you want to be careful with those things. Whenever you borrow money, it's your responsibility to pay that money back on time. And watch this. And that's, if you can't pay the whole thing off within 30 days, then what I would do is set up automatic payments for the minimum amount. But don't just leave it there. That's just so that in case you forget, something is going to get paid. But your goal should always be, I'm trying now to raise the money to pay that debt off, right? I'm setting up the automatic payment just in case between now and the time I actually get the money to pay it off, just in case I forget about that thing, the payment is going to be made, right? And then time does the rest. All right. What else? Step 2, create a budget to determine what you can comfortably afford. This is a touchy and sensitive topic, right? Because one of the things that stops people from wanting to make the move is because they feel they don't make enough money. And for many of us, unfortunately, that is true, especially when you're young, just coming out of school with your first job. Chances are, you know, unless you are in certain fields, you know, chances are your entry-level income by itself may not be enough. You may need to rent a couple of years while you build up your, you know, your income. And what I mean by that, when you get a job, don't just try to stay at that same level for 20 years. You got to be trying to move up, because that's going to increase your income, right? And the higher your income, the more comfortable you're going to be in going after the kind of house that you really want. All right. Step number 3, get pre-approved with a reputable lender.
That's good.
Get pre-approved.
Yeah.
That's an important part of the process, because that during that process, they're going to check your credit, and then you'll know exactly where you stand from a credit perspective. But not only that, they're going to look at your income. They're going to look at your debt. They're going to do what they call a debt to income ratio. How much debt do you have versus how much money you make, right? Because if you have more debt than income, that's not a good look, right? Because then how you going to pay? A lender is going to say, how you going to pay me back? And you got all these other bills out here, right? So you want to keep that debt to income ratio low to have enough room to be able to afford this new purchase that you're getting ready to make, right? That's step number 3. Step number 4, find a knowledgeable real estate agent who understands first-time buyers. Listen, shameless plug. You're looking at 2 knowledgeable real estate agents. I'm the broker. She's an agent and a property manager. And we understand first-time buyers. We've been first-time buyers ourselves, right? I've been second and third-time buyers. This is my third home, my third home living in. And then I've bought many homes, bought many houses, investment property, bought and sold many. But this is the third home that I bought to live in. I bought my first one in Detroit. I bought my second one in Maple Heights, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland. And I bought this one, which was a new construction in Decatur, Georgia. And so, yeah, we understand the buying process. So just pick up the phone and call us.
Look us up, Davis Asset Realty.
We got to do the shameless plug real quick. Davis Asset Realty, www.Davis Asset Realty. No, I'm joking, but I'm serious. Go to that website, register, because you'll have access to all of the listings on the MLS in Georgia, right? So if you're a Georgian, if you live in Georgia, a Georgia resident, and you're looking for a home, go to www.davisassetrealty.com, register, and you'll have access to all of the listings on the MLS system. And I also have, under the buyer's link, all the resources that you need as a buyer, from the mortgage calculator to how much I can afford. Everything that you want is right there. That's the shameless plug. All right. Back to business.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 5, start small. What does that say? Your first home doesn't have to be your dream home.
Listen, okay, I'm a change that.
What's that?
Because
I like it.
Your first home really is it's your dream. You want to buy a home, right?
You want to buy a home.
You want to buy a home. We ain't saying your first home is your mansion,
mm-hmm.
right? Okay,
so let's say it like this: your first home doesn't have to be your forever home.
There you go.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing: like, some people think when I buy a house, that's it. I'm gonna stay in that house and pay that mortgage for 30 years.
No, you're not.
And in 30 years, I'm gonna burn that mortgage.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
I'm not gonna say that's the dumbest thing I ever heard, because it made sense
back in the day.
Mm-hmm. But then, as we got smarter and as we got wiser, we realized that it is not actually to your advantage to take 30 years to pay a mortgage, to pay your house off, mm-hmm. because what you end up doing is paying 3 times the price of that house. Yeah. So, for example, the way interest works, right? If you borrowed $100,000 to buy a house, mm-hmm. and you take 30 years to pay that off, making your normal regular payments every month, you would end up paying about $300,000 for that $100,000 house. And to me, that makes no sense at all. Mm-hmm. So you have to get creative and figure out, how can I pay this 30-year mortgage off in less than 30 years, mm-hmm. right? Get the 30-year mortgage so that you have manageable payments. But in your mindset, don't settle for taking 30 years to pay it off, mm-hmm. because you'll be going, what they say, out the world backwards. Mm-hmm. No longer is it an investment, right? Yeah. So, your first home should not be your forever home, mm-hmm. right? That's your starter home. That's just to get you started,
right?
That's just to get you started. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what is it going to get you started doing? Is going to put you in a great position if you buy right. Number 1, meaning that you buy it at the right price, low enough. Don't go buy the most expensive house on the block, and don't get the highest payments. Make sure you get your credit score up so you can get those interest rates down, right? Buying right. And then you want to buy in an area. Location is the key to real estate. Buy in an area that at least seems like it's going to do well over time, mm-hmm. because then your house, your home will appreciate. It will increase in value. So while your house is increasing in value and you're paying that mortgage down, you're creating what we call equity. That equity is like cash in the bank. So whenever you get ready to move to your next home, you can sell that home, and everything between how much you sell it for and how much you bought it for is money that you can use towards your next house. Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. by that time, you should no longer be worried about not having 20%. Right? Because you should have more than 20% equity mm-hmm. in your home. Yep. Right? Yep. And that will determine how much of a home you can buy the next time. And this is how people keep stepping up. And it doesn't take forever, depending on where you are. Like Atlanta, for a long time, was appreciating at about 5 to 7% every year without fail. And so even with our investors, I watched them buy houses for $100,000. In 5 years, those houses were worth over $200,000, mm-hmm. just 5 years. Yeah. So they created hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity just by buying and waiting, mm-hmm. right? Renting them out, they were renting them out, but they didn't have to do anything else. Just time was doing the rest.
Mhm.
So as their tenants were paying the mortgages down, time was increasing the value of the home. And the next thing you know, you got $100,000 in equity that you can use towards your next house. And $100,000 is 20% of a $500,000 house. So now you're able to move from a $100,000 house to a $500,000 house in 2 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Bam!
There you go.
There you go.
Mhm.
And guess what? You can do it again.
Yep.
If you're young enough, if you start, for y'all young folks who are watching, if you start now, you see what I'm saying? Imagine if you started doing this in your 20s,
Yeah.
right? You let's say you get out of school, you're 22, 23 years old. Let's say 3 to 5 years, 22 years old, 3 years, you're 25, right? At 25, you move up to your $500,000 house. Wait for another 5 years. You're 30 now, and you do it again. And now instead of you making $100,000 in equity, you got $200,000, $300,000 in equity, and now you're moving up to your $700,000.
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Some people can't even think like that,
Mm-mm.
and that's why we're trying to work on your mindset,
Yeah.
right? Why am I keep stepping you up? Here's a strategy. This is something that I have adopted in my mind. You don't have to take this one, but here's what I like to think about. What if I keep stepping it up, watching how time goes, how old I'm getting. By the time I get too old to be in the big house, now I can sell that big house and hopefully have enough equity in that big house. When I sell it, I could take the cash from that house, downsize, buy the house that we want, cash free and clear. And now we can live out the rest of our days with no mortgage at all. Right? And that's where you really want to be when we're talking about wealth building. You want to get in a position where your two biggest expenses are covered. That's your house and your car, right? You don't want to be paying notes when you're 65, 70 years old. You want to be able to say, look, I ain't worried about that. I pay my insurance and I pay my taxes. I maintain the house. That's all I need to do. And because you're now not living under the fear of somebody foreclosing on you, coming to take the house, and you 75 years old, you can't even run. Yeah. You can't even hide. You can't even go move the car when you see the repo man coming down the street. You're just too old, right? Yeah. So rather than do that, you want to be in a position where you can buy your at least buy your last house cash, and you buy your automobiles cash, so that you don't have car notes and mortgage notes.
Yeah. So let's stop. Robin made a comment. Student loans, debt to ratio is an issue.
Debt to ratio is an issue with student loans. Okay, so here, that's a whole nother conversation.
It is.
That's a whole nother conversation that affects housing, but you have to have a different game plan to get rid of that student loan. Yeah. Right. And I think we figured out that our jobs, you can do it on your job, but you're going to sacrifice a lot. Yeah. If you're spending most of your check to pay your student loans. So what I would advise is, again, because we're in real estate, and this is what I know, is how about we get into some real estate investments like flipping houses, buying houses that need some work, fixing them up, selling them, take the cash from that and put down on your student loans, right? So that you're not waiting. If you're doing it with your paycheck, then you're doing the same thing as a person taking 30 years to pay off their mortgage. It's going to take you that long to pay off your student loan. You got to figure out a way to make money outside of your job. And that's a whole nother conversation. Yeah. But you are correct in that if you're trying to buy a house and those student loans exist, it can cause you a problem, right? But so we got to come up with some creative ways to solve those problems, right? Like what I was talking about earlier, like figure out how to get yourself in the position that you want to be in to be able to get the best deal on the house that you want to buy.
Right. And it's still some programs and some ways around that as well. That's talking to a lender, mortgage broker. They'll be able to help you with that if that's what's causing you from not being able to purchase. Mahogany. Right now we cannot. We are not licensed in other states, but we are. That is a goal of ours to be licensed in multiple states. Right. So we are working on that. We'll be working on that, but right now we can only take Georgia clients. That's all we can do right now. But if you are looking or you're deciding you want to buy, I'm sure we can find somebody in Ohio that can help you. Okay. Robin says her dream now is to own commercial property. Yes.
That's one of ours too.
Yes.
and there you and that kind of answers your question, Robin, about the student loans. Like you have to think outside of your job when it comes to tackling those big issues in life. We're in the same position. We got student loans that we got to get rid of, but I'm not so worried about it because we've got a plan, right? And we've seen that plan. We've seen how that plan will potentially work. So we flipped a couple of houses and made some money. Now we got to do it more so that we can not only pay on the student loan, but have money left over to reinvest. Right? So, my initial thought was, let's flip the house and pay off the student loan. And I had to dial it back just a little bit, readjust the plan, because if you take all the money from that flip and pay off the student loan, now you don't have anything left to flip another house. Right? So it's like but it's a skill set. Now, what you're talking about, own commercial property, it's the same concept. It's the same concept. Investing in something that's going to return extra money outside of your 9-to-5 job. And commercial property will do that, right? Again, you want to make the right decisions, right choices, right? Get with someone who's knowledgeable about it, right? Buy the right commercial property and buy it right, so that you have a better chance at achieving your goal. So you may say, I need to see an additional $2,000 a month out of this property after all expenses are paid. You can use that $2,000 or some of it to pay on your student loans, right? So you're not waiting 30 years for your job to do it, right? You can also get into commercial property and rent it out for a while. And if it appreciates enough in value, you sell it and just knock the student loan off. But make sure you set aside enough so that you can buy another property, right? And yes, buying those properties is the key. Don't just sit there and get complacent with what you have, right? Because we end up dying like that, and we never fulfill our dreams and our goals, right? Good question, good comments.
Strip mall type.
Strip mall type.
Small strip mall. Start off small. The one that I manage for one of our dear clients is four units. 4 units. And really it's just income coming in. Income coming in. We may have, we've got a few expenses, outside of the common area, what they call common area expenses, your landscaping, your utility, your electric, your power. But for the most part, with commercial properties and that type of thing, usually the tenant is responsible for their HVAC. They're responsible for their plumbing inside their space, their electric, their gas. So, the expense of the owner really is the foundation
Right.
of the building, the roof of the building, and again, parking lot, anything outside of the tenant space.
Right.
Everything inside is the tenant responsibility. So depending on how you have your leases set up,
right,
that's a cash cow.
It's cash cow. So what you just described is what we call triple net.
Yep.
That means that the owner is not responsible for all of those expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Those expenses get passed on to the tenants.
Yep.
Right. And Robin, you've been down here when we owned the salon suites.
Mm-hmm.
That shopping plaza that we owned the salon suite in is the plaza that we also manage.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of our clients' properties. And he told me, and he had well over 150 properties between houses and apartment buildings. He told me several times that one little shopping plaza outperformed everything that he's owned in the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a cash cow. It rocked through COVID without missing a beat.
Yeah.
All the tenants that were there continue to pay their rent, because their businesses depend upon it.
Mm-hmm.
And their businesses are their livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
And we just happened to have the right mix of tenants.
Yeah.
And so they didn't get shut down during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And they kept going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at things like that, two things I want to bring to your attention. Yes, the building itself will bring you positive passive income through your tenants' rents. The other thing I want you to see is, like I mentioned, we owned a salon suite in that space.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a business, right, and I know you're in the massage business and you occupied that space, right, one of those spaces, you're also generating your own additional income.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that whole concept about my student loans holding me back suddenly begins to look small, because you got money coming in off of this property and you got money coming in out of the business that you manage in that property. And here's the third thing that people fail or forget to talk about is the tax benefits. How these rental properties offset your taxes.
Yeah.
One of the reasons people said they're going to take 30 years to pay off their mortgage is because the government told them that as long as you have a mortgage, you can write the interest off. But that interest never really equates to the amount of more money you're spending over the 30-year period. Yeah. It don't even add up. It don't even equate. But if you have rental property and your president, the one y'all don't even like, he is all about real estate investing. So he's changing laws and making sure that people who have rental property, investment property, benefit from the tax laws if nobody else does, right? So the tax laws are set up that if you're a real estate professional or if you have rental property, it becomes your tax shelters. It reduces your taxable income. And this is how people end up not paying taxes or very little taxes, right? So there's multiple benefits, right? Commercial property, you got bigger income than residential property, and you have a different type of tenant. These type of tenants don't call you when the toilet gets stopped up. They don't call you to come change the light bulb. They don't call you for silly stuff, right?
No.
There's a different type of tenant. You never really hear from them unless something is really wrong with that building.
Yep. Something is really, like I said, a roof leak.
Yep.
There's a pothole in the parking lot, whatever. That's it. That's all you're responsible for. And another thing is too, depending on what type of tenant you have, if you have retail tenant, you can get additional money outside of the rent because you have what they call gosh, I just lost it. It's their gross revenue.
Yeah.
You can get money. You can
percentage
get
of their-
percentage of their gross revenue.
Right.
So that's an additional income on top of just the rent alone.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, commercial property, it really is a cash cow because
Wait a minute.
what? What she say?
I don't mean to cut you off, but we got to look at that one.
Wait a minute.
Mahogany. Said, listen, after walking in the Trump Towers in Chicago, you have to give it to the orange man. He's big in the real estate.
Yeah. He's huge.
He's huge in the real estate.
He's huge in real estate.
And people, they you can talk about him, but when he says, he's smarter, he know how not to pay taxes, he's doing it through real estate.
Exactly. That's where it stops. There you go.
Yeah.
Real estate business, that's where it stops.
And so here's how you play the game. Yeah, you may not like the orange man, but guess what? Go ahead and buy your real estate anyway, because whatever he's doing for him and his buddies is going to benefit you.
Yeah.
Right?
You can reap some of that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's wrap it up because we're almost at the end. What do we really need to talk about? We talked about tax advantages. Those tax advantages that I talked about for that commercial property also goes for residential property as well. So there's another benefit to buying investment property, real estate. Number one, your home, your primary residence where you live, and number two, rental property, right? Flipping, you got to be careful with, because flipping, you end up paying a lot of taxes when you flip, right? So that's what I learned. The money I thought I was going to have to pay student loans off, when you flip, the government going to take half that. They're going to take half that right off the rip because you didn't hold that property long enough. But if you hold it for a year and a day and then sell it, that money's yours, baby.
Yep.
Right? Anyway, here's one thing that I will say: leveraging your home for wealth. So you know that we do that. Yeah. Right? So we were able to get a couple of lines of credit against our primary residence, and we use that line of credit to get in and out of fix and flip deals, right? So we did it last year. I think we did it I know we did it in Snellville, and I did not need to use that for the other house in Ellenwood. But I've used the line of credit to fix and flip, and then take the profits from the fix and flip, pay the line of credit back off, and whatever's left over is your profit after taxes. All right, but you can do that, but you can do that with a home, but you cannot do that with an apartment, right? So you cannot do that when you're renting, right? You don't even have, so if you own a home and you bought your home for $400,000 3 years ago, and now your house is worth $500,000, you've got $100,000 equity that you can tap into. And if you set it up as a line of credit, not a home equity loan, but a home equity line of credit, that means that you can use it, put it back, use it, put it back, use it, put it back. And you do that as many times as you can to get in and out of these deals so that you can generate the money to take care of the things that you need and want to do. Right? So I'm going to stop it right there, because there's so many more things that you can do when you own your own home. One of the things that we talked about, you can pass it down.
Generation.
Yeah, if you want to. But we're going to end with the scripture. We said we're not going to talk scripture for this whole segment, but I'm going to short this segment up with this one scripture right there. What does that say?
Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children.
Good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. You cannot leave your apartment to your children.
It's not yours.
It don't work like that. Here's another one. I'm sorry, I lied. We talked about fear, and the Bible says in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, what does it say?
God has not given us a spirit of fear.
Right. So if that's what you're dealing with over there, that ain't God.
Nope.
That is not God.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you guys got something out of today's session, and we're going to take it a little further.
Mm-hmm.
Next session, I'm thinking about going more into the investment side. But between now and then, if you are on the fence about buying your first home, do whatever you can to overcome those fears, to adjust that mindset. Yeah, it will be a little scary, especially if you're doing it by yourself, but link up with a good realtor and a good mortgage broker or lender or bank. Develop those relationships with people that you can trust, that can hold your hand through the process. And I guarantee you're going to be okay. And it's going to work out for you better in the long run. Trust me. I've done it. I'm doing it now. There's some things I've been able to do with this house that I wouldn't have been able to do. Like when I was in debt, I did get a home equity loan and consolidated all my debt and paid that loan off, because the interest on that home equity loan was a lot less than the interest on the credit that I had out there, right? And it allowed me to pay all that stuff off a whole lot quicker, right? And then once I got rid of that home equity loan, I went back and got a home equity line of credit. And then I started using that to buy real estate. Boom, boom. You got to think. These things do not happen with apartments. You'll be stuck. You'll be making people like me rich. I want to see you get rich.
Right. Right. Yep.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been fun. I'm having a good time. This is my area. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it was a blessing, like and share it with a friend.
Please share.
Yep.
Please
share the recording and tell them to come on the next one live, because it's better when you ask your questions and put your comments out there. That way, everybody can participate, because whatever you're asking, I guarantee you somebody else wanted to know the same thing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we
end? Nope. That's it.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yes, I am sure.
Okay. So
I think so.
All right. Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Feeding the ducks.
Good night, everybody.